Hey guys, Maewtt here, and today I've got an interesting Undertale theory for you. What if each of the main monsters in the game has a different mental illness? Some of them are pretty obvious, but for others, I had to do a little digging. So let's begin. We'll start with Flowey. His mental illness is probably the most obvious out of everybody's because he pretty much flat out admits that he has it. His mental illness is antisocial personality disorder, also known as sociopathy. According to the Mayo Clinic, those with ASPD tend to lie, disregard right from wrong, manipulate others, and act hostile without regard to other people's safety. They're also unable to feel emotions such as love and empathy for others. This definitely describes Flowey. He attacks you right at the start of the game. He lies and manipulates Papyrus into getting everyone together in the pacifist saying that he could absorb their souls, and he encourages you to do a genocide run. And when you do, he reveals that he can't feel anything for anyone and that people are just numbers to him. There's probably plenty more evidence to suggest that Flowey has ASPD, but I think it's already quite obvious, and showing all of it would get redundant. So let's move on. Toriel's mental illness is also fairly obvious, or at least it is if you know what the actual disorder is. Her mental illness is mother hen syndrome. According to Webster's dictionary, a mother hen is someone who assumes an overprotective maternal attitude. It's pretty obvious that Toriel does this. She tries to adopt you and destroy the only exit to the ruins so that you can't escape. She also gives you your own room with clothes and toys, and she even goes as far as to prepare your education curriculum. But what caused this? Simple. It was probably caused by the deaths of Azrael and Chara, two children that she previously raised, as well as the deaths of the previous 6 humans. Next up is Papyrus. His mental illness is Asperger's syndrome. According to the Mayo Clinic, people with this condition may be socially awkward and have an all-absorbing interest in specific topics. This is quite true about Papyrus. He is very socially awkward and has trouble picking up on social cues, such as when you flat out insult him, he takes it as a compliment. He also has a very restricted range of interests. He constantly obsesses over 2 things, capturing a human and pasta. Just look at how many puzzles and traps he's made. Also, he gives Undine the exact same gift every time he sees her, and doesn't pick up on her lack of interest for it. And according to Sans, he's been wearing the exact same outfit for weeks. Speaking of Sans, let's get to his mental illness. Sans has major depressive disorder, commonly referred to as depression. Symptoms of depression include loss of interest in things that were once appealing, hallucinations resulting from psychosis, and hypersomnia, or oversleeping. All these things could be seen in the fight with Sans alone. During his fight, he mentions things like, getting to the surface doesn't really appeal to me anymore, and it makes it hard for me to give it my all. Then, when you survive Sans' most powerful attack, he uses his special attack, which consists of doing nothing. Sans quickly falls asleep, which may be because of the hypersomnia resulting from his depression. This isn't the only time Sans falls asleep. While he's at a sentry job, which Papyrus had to push him to get, Sans falls asleep, resulting in a very angry Undine. Also, when you finally kill Sans, he walks away and sees Papyrus, which is impossible since Papyrus is dead, so that's obviously a hallucination. Next up is Undine. She has intermittent explosive disorder, or IED. IED is a behavioral disorder characterized by explosive outbursts of anger and violence that are disproportionate to the situation at hand. According to the DSM-5, one has IED if they have several episodes of impulsive behavior that harm a person or property, if the aggressiveness is disproportionate to the current situation, and if the behavior isn't better explained by another mental disorder. This fits Undine perfectly. During your hangout with her, she throws a spear that destroys a table because you stood up and you're her guest. This outburst both resulted in the destruction of property and was disproportionate to the situation at hand. She later burns down her own house and attacks you afterwards. This aggressive behavior clearly fits IED, and I can't think of a better disorder that she has to explain this behavior, so I think it's safe to say that Undine has IED. Next up is Elvis. She has an anxiety disorder. Symptoms of anxiety disorders include stress that is disproportionate to what is going on, constantly worrying, sweating, unwanted thoughts, trembling, and social phobias. Elvis quickly fits this criteria. She has a huge social phobia. Just calling you her Undine caused her to get extremely sweaty, and according to her, it was hard to dial because her hands kept shaking. She also has unwanted thoughts and constantly worries that no one will like her if they find out her secret. And also in the neutral endings, if you kill either Metaton or Undine, with one exception, it is heavily implied that she kills herself. And speaking of Metaton, let's get to him. His mental illness is that he has narcissistic personality disorder. Symptoms for this disorder include an excessive need for admiration, disregard for others' feelings, and the inability to handle criticism. Metaton is extremely narcissistic. He constantly puts himself at the center of attention and claims to be the biggest star in the underground. He's also willing to do anything for attention, even kill you, and take your soul so that he could get a bigger audience on the surface. He disregards Elvis's feelings, and once he got his body, he pretty much left her. During the essay question of his fight, we see that he doesn't take kindly to criticism. If you type an insult, he'll say, "This essay is supposed to be about me, not you." And he also keeps fighting you until you either kill him or you get huge ratings for him, which shows his excessive need for admiration. Last of all is Asgore. His mental illness was the least obvious, and I had to do some digging to find it. Asgore has prolonged grief disorder. Prolonged grief disorder consists of a distinct set of symptoms that occur after the death of a loved one. One of the major risk factors of developing this disorder is death of a loved one being unexpected. Asgore probably gets this after the deaths of Chara and Azrael. Chara got pretty sick suddenly, and Azrael died on the surface, which is something Asgore could not have expected. Common symptoms of this disorder include feeling that the future has no hope or joy, longing for a reunion with the one they lost, feeling trapped in their grief, and even suicidal thoughts. We can see all of those with Asgore. On the neutral route, once we defeat him, he says, "I just want to see my wife. I just want to see my child." He then begs you to take his life, and if neither you or Flowey kills him, he'll kill himself. In the pacifist route, when you get to him, Toriel intervenes and scolds him because if he really wanted to free the monsters, he could have just taken one soul and gone to the surface and gotten 6 more. Instead, he wanted her made trapped in the underground with his despair, hoping that another human never comes. And Asgore admits that's true himself, which also explains why he doesn't make much of an effort to kill you. His attacks only kill you if you are on 1 HP, so weak that anything would kill you. Well, that's my theory on the Undertale monsters, and before I go, I just want to say thank you all so much for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. I couldn't have done it without you, and I hope you all continue to enjoy my content. I have a special plan this June that I hope you will all enjoy, and tell me what you think of this video below, and please like, share, and subscribe.